Hi, Scorpio family, and welcome to August 2020. This is a really interesting and powerful time of the year for you all, and August in general just has this strong, clear, focused energy. We're in Leo season for most of the month, a fellow fixed sign. And fixed sign energy often brings a lot of clarity to it, as you know, as a Scorpio, brings a lot of intensity and showing up to the table. And I think right now we are craving some of that fixed fire sign energy of Leo, and it is helping us to get some clarity and to get our footing in the world as it is now after a very powerful beginning to 2020. About very powerful first 7 months of the year. We need a moment to understand who we are within the process now. And this month, Leo season and Leo energy often taps into your 10th house. This is all about who you are in the world, what you're doing in the world, who you're becoming in the world. Both the Mercury and the Sun are moving through Leo this month. We also have a full moon in Aquarius that is highlighting your intimate internal process and how you want to revolutionize that. The full moon in Aquarius is very inventive and playful, and it's very much looking for new ways of understanding things. This full moon is really curious about, okay, we've done things this way for a long time. How do we want to change it? So it's a very playful moon on August 3rd. We also have, this is one of my favorite transits for you this month, we also have Venus moving through Cancer, a fellow water sign, very nurturing sign. This is going to be really great for you in visioning and in thinking about who you're becoming within the context of all this clear energy, right? This insightful energy we have in August. That Venus in Cancer is just going to be helping you tap into what you really love and value, and how you want to connect that to your worldview. And then as we move into Virgo season, we're starting to get into your 11th house of your community, your friendships, how you want to connect to the world around you, right? Not just as an individual, but as a part of a whole. Now, let's just talk about a couple of other things that I think are really important. One is that Uranus is going retrograde in your opposing sign of Taurus. This, Uranus retrogrades every year. You've already worked with Uranus retrograde in Taurus before, so this is nothing new. However, it's just something to keep in mind. It will be a theme for the rest of 2020. Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And for you, this is going to be great for healing, reconnecting when it comes to relationships, reflecting, reworking, all of that. So that's a theme that's going on in the background. So there was a message that came through for my Scorpios, and it's a pretty simple one in many ways. This is a month when you may be finding that you are getting acquainted with your new outline, your new shape. You may even still be doing many of the usual things. Not all of you. Some of you probably have had huge changes in routine, in all of that. But even if you're doing some things that haven't changed this whole year, or you're still feeling as though you're pretty much the same person, even those things may feel almost alien to you, or like you're looking at them from a new perspective, and like you're having to learn how to be in the world. You can almost feel like an alien in your own life that you built. That may be a theme, Queen of Pentacles, that comes up for you here this month. Over and over again, even as you're getting these waves of clarity that Leo season will bring, and Virgo season as well, quite honestly, even as you're getting clarity too around the fact that both Venus and Mercury have left their post-shadow phases for those big retrogrades we had over the last few months. And there's getting to be all this clarity. You may be finding that as the fog lifts and as you're seeing more clearly, you're also learning a new shape to who you are. This can kind of happen sneakily in our lives. We may think that we know exactly how we've been changing, right? Because we all know you guys spend time thinking about this and connecting with this and working with it. Queen of Wands, 2 queens in a row. All right. I like it. We know that you spend time sitting and thinking about this, and you may feel like you have a handle on how it is you're changing and how it is you're growing. King of Wands. Okay. These are very sovereign energies going on here. Very determined sovereign energies. Temperance. Wow. I love it. One more card and then we'll talk through this. So yeah, you may feel as though you know exactly what's going on, and then yet you'll be looking around you thinking, I don't know who I am in this world that I'm finding myself in. And Six of Cups. We got to have a little water in this reading, right? We can't be having all fire and earth. It'd be no fun at all. So there's this big sense of you getting a new understanding of who you are as this fog lifts and as you're seeing clearly around you. And I think this can be a really fun, positive experience. It can just feel like really good to finally be like, okay, this is what I'm working with. Also, just remember that whatever it is that you end up seeing and understanding this month that you're going to be working with and starting to really move with, just remember that you're also learning how to work with it. So even though maybe you feel like you should be 10 steps ahead, keep this in mind. Okay, so let's just talk about the fact that we have 3 royals here right out of the gate. Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, and King of Wands. Okay, we'll start with Queen of Pentacles. This is an important one. You know, whenever she shows up, she's got a very clear message here, which is make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're nurturing things. She often also speaks to the fact that there are things in your life, there are things that may be coming up this month, even with the fog lifting and the clarity coming in and all of this beautiful energy in a fixed sign of Leo that's helping us see more clearly. You may find that there are things that are like these little seeds that have been planted in the ground that do need to be nurtured and cared for, kind of brought into the light, brought into existence, and they may not move quickly, and it may take time, and that is okay. These are important things that will take time to grow and morph and change shape, and they need a little bit of attention. That includes you and your new skin, you know, your new shape that you are taking on. And she's very important for that process. She's a very important touchstone for the whole process of transformation, to come back to the self-mothering, right? So this is a really strong sense of nurturing here. And even as we work through that full moon in Aquarius, you know, this Aquarian energy is really interesting with Scorpio because it so much highlights, you know, your intimate, your personal, the things that aren't about the external world or your acquaintances, but what's really going on in that deep hearth inside of yourself. And so there's a touchstone here at the beginning of the month on that level. But right away, we get into the Queen and King of Wands. Now, these two, talk about determined, brazen, focused, stubborn energy. And I know that some of you Scorpios out there definitely have that. You know, you are determined and you can be stubborn and you can know exactly how you want to get things done. Now, of course, all of these cards can represent people around you. You know, you may be finding you're having a lot of very opinionated people around you, stubborn people, I mean, even Queen of Pentacles, you know, knows how she likes to do things. So there's kind of a sense that everybody's got their way. They want to be doing things, including you. So you may be finding that's a theme for you this month. And healthy boundaries could be a big theme for you this month, especially as we move into Virgo season and you're starting to work through friendships and relationships. Once again, Uranus and Taurus retrograde. Review on healthy boundaries, review on healthy relationships, review on healthy communion with other. So Queen of Wands, King of Wands here speaks to that, finding healthy boundaries within the stubbornness. The other thing about these cards, though, these are cards about autonomy, right? These are cards of self-mastery, strength, creativity, standing fiercely in who you are now, and letting yourself shine brightly. A few years ago, we had Jupiter going through your sign, a couple of years ago now. And I remember during that year, we would talk a lot about the spotlight being on you, like this big, bright, brilliant Jupiter just being like, let's go, and it just being really intense. And you having to kind of like honor and welcome in your empowered state. And I almost get a little review of that moment here with King and Queen of Wands, of this sense of you having to be comfortable enough to let yourself kind of expand into this next form and to let yourself see distance-wise down the horizon. There's so much energy, especially with Venus in Cancer. Work with that magic this month because it will help you look at your life philosophy, look at the long-term plans, look at who you want to plug in and be moving forward. There is some healing going on with relationships here. I mentioned that just briefly before here, but when we look at these last two cards, I have to say that that is what comes up right out of the gate when I look at these two. A lot of these first three cards are all about you as your individual self, and who you're in, getting used to your new shape and getting used to new opportunities and new ways of stepping and fully embracing your power. These cards right here, Temperance and Six of Cups, have a lot to do with relationship and reharmonizing and rebalancing. Once again, Uranus shifting into retrograde is a time of healing. It's a time of deep reflection on these things. And keep in mind as well that Mars is starting its slowdown in Aries this month. It will start its retrograde in September. We're going to talk big about that in September, and also on Patreon, we're going to dive deep into healing, working with Mars energy. You all know he's a co-ruler with you. So as this slowdown starts to happen, the pre-shadow is going to be happening all of August. This is also, because it's a co-ruling planet with Scorpio, you're going to start to notice that there is kind of a sense of closeout, full circle things going on. And that's going to continue to happen the rest of 2020 as a heads up, and we'll get more into that next month. But I'm already seeing it here with you guys in Temperance and Six of Cups. Temperance is always about tempering something, right? Rebalancing it, finding a new harmony with something. So where maybe you've gone extreme over on one end of the spectrum as far as maybe spending a lot of alone time or a lot of together time, it's going to be a time to recalibrate that. And it's tied to past hurt, past pain, past relationships, healing and nurturing and finding peace with those. That's the message that comes through for me intuitively at this time. These cards are about deep healing, deep understanding. This can go back all the way to childhood. This can go back to last year or even earlier this year if you had any kind of, healing you need to do from a relationship. All of those things could come up with these cards. You may also find, even though we're not in Venus retrograde and we're nowhere close to another Venus retrograde for a long time, that you're getting to visit and notice things from the past, right? Once again, there's two major retrogrades happening that are affecting you in this part of your life that are really going to be in play all the rest of 2020, which is Uranus and Mars. And so this is a theme, this is a sub-theme that's going to be going on for you. And like I said, we'll keep coming back to this next month and the month after as well. But whatever it is that needs to be reconnected, this often comes up when we are in a new shape. It's so interesting how when we've graduated to a new shape, all those little incremental changes that happen over months or years, and you suddenly realize you're somewhere new and you're no longer the person you were 6 months ago or a year ago, and you're standing in this new landscape and you're getting used to it. Suddenly, you have to find a way of looking at, past relationships and past experiences in a new light. And suddenly you're seeing them in a new light. And a lot of times when that happens, we want to find, closure. We want to close out that loop. We want to come to some kind of greater understanding of it and calibrate it and heal it and release it. And so that makes a lot of sense to me in this time. And like I said, even though Six of Cups can sometimes be a little foggy, a little confusing, I also find that it can help us understand things and close out loops, especially in a time of such deep clarity like we get here in August. It's intense in some ways. Sometimes it's a little more comfortable to be in the fog than to be in the bright crystal clarity of something, right? So there is an intensity to this month. I'll admit it right now. I'm excited for it. I'm very curious to see how it affects us all because I can feel that high intensity energy. Make sure you're getting enough rest. Make sure you're not letting it overwhelm you. Make sure you're checking in, coming back to this Queen of Pentacles throughout the month because you're going to need that. You're going to need that nurturing side even while you're blasting forward into a whole bunch of new energy. like I said, if you're looking for support, I'm going to be doing some deep diving all about all of these transits, and it's very interesting next part of the year over on Patreon. I would love to see you over there. We have an amazing supportive community of beautiful souls, and we just have such great dialogues over there, so I'd love to see you there. You can also find me on my website, sarahverba.com, or on my Instagram at sarahverba. You can also find PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry on her website. I will leave her Etsy shop link below so you can check out her beautiful new designs that she's always coming up with. I love you, Scorpio, so much. Take such good care of yourselves. Let yourselves heal and move forward and glow and be bright and brilliant, because I know that's who you are. I'm sending you all my love. I will see you for more moon magic. So we got that new moon in Aquarius coming right up. And of course, for next month, September. Sending you my love.